What would you do if you had a job relocation out of state? Would you choose the same type of living situation you have now, or would you take that opportunity to do something entirely opposite so that you could finally get ahead? And not only that, have the freedom and the money to live differently. Well, that's the route we went when we chose to live in a downsized home. And today I'm going to give you 15 benefits of living in a downsized home so that you can make your own decision if you would like to downsize to upsize. Hi, I'm Bren. I'm so happy you're here. I share weekly videos on simple and minimalist living, decluttering and organizing, creating a cozy home, and ways to live your best life. If you love these topics as much as I do, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to set all of your notifications so you'll never miss a video. When we were looking for our home, we were driving around in the same type of neighborhood in the suburbs, looking at the same type of big houses that we just left. And all of a sudden it dawned on me, wait a minute, what if we chose to do something different? What would that look like? And this is how this whole plan was hatched. And let me tell you, it has been one of the best decisions I have ever made, and here is why. Now, obviously, one of the main reasons we chose to live in a downsized home is that it was going to save us money. And I'm not just talking about a small chunk of change, I'm talking about a big chunk of change. The type of money that can make a difference in your life. A type of money that will allow you to have a savings, and a type of money that will allow you to get ahead. Now, that's a decision that you can make on just how much money you want to save, actually. For us, we decided that we wanted to save 50% of what our housing cost was before. So that meant we went from $1,800 in a mortgage payment to only $925. And as you can see, that is a significant savings. So what did we do with that money? Well, we were finally able to stop living paycheck to paycheck. That's the first thing. We were not overextending ourselves anymore. We were not in debt anymore. We decided that we wanted to live not only within our means, but below our means. We were finally able to pay off any debt that we owed. And now we own our home. Now we own our cars. Now we don't owe any money to anybody. And that is all because of that one decision that we made. The second reason that we really had as a priority was we wanted to travel more. When we were in debt, when we couldn't afford anything but our house and we were living house poor, we could only afford to take a trip every other year. And actually, travel is one of the things we're most passionate about. So that was such a hard thing. Sure, we could do little things, and that was fantastic. But we really wanted to show our family things outside of our own neighborhood, things outside of our own state, even outside of our own country. So making this change in our living circumstance, it changed everything. We were able to travel. One more thing I want to say about travel is that you can give physical gifts to your kids, right? You can give them a toy. You can give them a video game, but that will soon be forgotten. There's a saying that goes, if you give a physical gift, they're not going to remember it. But if you give them an experience, that is something that they will carry with them, that memory will last a lifetime. They'll never forget it. Think about it yourself. Do you remember a gift that you received 5 years ago? Maybe not. But do you remember a trip that you took 5 years ago? I'm almost positive your answer will be yes. Now, when we were struggling in our big house before we downsized our home, I was a stay-at-home mom, but it was a struggle. After we downsized our home and we minimized all of the things that go with it, which I'll tell you about soon, anyway, those things made it possible for me to continue to stay at home with our kids. Now, if you are a parent that wants to stay home part-time or maybe full-time, this could be your opportunity to do just that. Having less expenses will allow you to do something like that, to have the freedom to do something like that. Another thing that will be a benefit, and that was one of our top priorities, is improving our daily lives. We wanted to make sure that we could afford things like activities for our kids. We wanted to be able to have a gym membership so that we could exercise. These are things that we wanted to do. It might not fit you, but you might have your own priorities. Maybe you want money to do an activity that you're passionate about. Maybe you want to go see soccer every weekend, or have a soccer membership, or even have one of those season tickets to soccer or football or baseball, whatever it is that you're passionate about. Can you imagine if you had money to do that? Can you imagine? It would be a game changer for you, right? Start thinking about the things outside of your home that could enhance your life. This is what I'm talking about when I say that this can improve your life. A little channel update. I wanted to let you know that I'm going to be posting a new video every Monday and Thursday. I'm giving it a shot for the next 3 months. Fingers crossed. Now, I love this one, and it wasn't something I set out to do when I downsized my home, but it was a natural thing that happened because I downsized my home. And that is, I became a minimalist. Now, minimalism isn't meaning that you live in an entirely white box with only a chair, no couch, nothing to sit on, only a couple of shirts and pants, whatever comes to your mind regarding minimalism. That is just not the case. At least it's not for me and the type of minimalism that I subscribe to. I found out about Joshua Becker, and he was such a life changer for me. After I read about his initial experience with his neighbor, and he was cleaning out the garage and he wanted to go spend time with his son, but he had a task to do. He had stuff to take care of. So he gets in a conversation with his next door neighbor, who says that her daughter is a minimalist and she doesn't have all of these things to take care of anymore. Well, that spoke to him. And look what that did. That one little story from his neighbor was such a life changer for him. And then he spread that good news to others. And when I heard about it, I took action. I didn't want to live in a crowded house with a bunch of stuff, and I didn't want to take care of a bunch of things that didn't matter to me anymore. So it's not that I got rid of things that I loved and enjoyed, or that truly were valuable or usable for me. It's not that way. What it meant is that I kept only the things in my life that mattered, that I use, and that I value. And I just got rid of all of the fluff, all of those extraneous things that absolutely didn't matter to me. Your home will feel fresh and inviting, and every time somebody walks into your home, they're going to do exactly what they do to me. Wow, this place just feels so good. They can't figure out what the difference is actually. The difference is that I don't have a bunch of stuff laying around. It's an inviting space and it feels good. It feels hygge. And one of these days I'm going to do a video on hygge, because that is another thing that has improved my life. Once I found out about hygge, there was absolutely no turning back. Let me know in the comments if you've downsized or if you're considering downsizing. I would love to hear your story and your thoughts. And if you have any questions at all, I am more than happy to answer them. Number 6 is you're going to save money on utilities. There's no doubt about it, and there's no way around it. For sure, if you have a smaller environment, you're going to have a smaller bill for heating and cooling. And that's just the way it rolls with a small house. With a downsized home, you just don't have those big electric bills, gas bills, or whatever kind of bills you have in your area. It just won't take that much to heat and cool your home. I absolutely love this one. Number 7, lucky number 7. You won't have to clean that much anymore. Having a small space means that you won't have to spend hours on end cleaning your home. Now, do I do a deep cleaning here and there? Of course I do. But other than that, I just do a weekly skimming cleaning. I vacuum, I dust, and I just don't have to spend a lot of time doing those things, because I don't live in a gigantic house with room after room after room that I don't even use, that I have to take care of. Those kind of things are from my past in my big house that I left in the dust. And now I live in a smaller home, and it's fantastic. The work that I have to do is just so minimal. This is an awesome benefit. You'll just have less stuff to take care of. You'll even probably have less of a yard to take care of. That is for sure what happened to us. Our yard is a fraction of the size that it used to be. So the gardens, sure, I have gardens and I like to go out there and garden, but I don't have the mammoth gardens that I used to have. I don't have all of the maintenance that comes along with that either. I don't have to spend time taking care of any of it. It's just a joy now to take care of my smaller garden, and I really love it. It's no longer a burden. It's something that you can just enjoy and be happy about taking care of because it's not too much. It's just right. I just love this one so much. Yesterday, I had the AC guy out and he had to do his yearly maintenance. Now, because I live in a small house, I only have one air conditioner. Can you imagine if I had 2 or 3 air conditioners? Well, that is exactly what happens in a big house, especially if you're living on multiple levels or you have a sprawling ranch that just requires an extra unit or 2. This is something I don't even have to worry about. So if something breaks and I have to replace it even, I don't have to worry about that gigantic cost because everything is at a minimum. In fact, when I had to do my hot water tank, I could only fit a certain size tank in my basement. So it didn't cost as much as it would cost me if I had multiple bathrooms in my house and with a giant house. It just does not happen. When you have a downsized home, all of your repair bills will be so much less. Any updates that you do to your home will be so much less. I have a 10 by 10 kitchen. Believe it or not, that is a pretty standard kitchen size in the United States. But it always seems like when we're watching a TV show, they show the most giant kitchens with a big island and multiple cabinets and countertops, right? Well, those kind of kitchens, if you have one, they cost a lot of money if you want to revamp the entire thing. You want to do new cabinets, new flooring, whatever. That's going to run you a good $25,000, $30,000. The reason I know that is because a friend of mine was getting a quote on her big kitchen at the very same time that I got a quote on my small kitchen when we renovated it. Mine was $10,000, hers was $25,000. And that just was such a big that was like such a big difference in cost, right? I mean, I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to pay the $10,000, but I felt like it was reasonable. But $25,000 to redo a kitchen would be absolutely out of my price league if I were in that big house still. I was just making ends meet. So how on earth would I ever afford to make an update to my home that costs that much? I would never be able to do it. So living in a downsized home, another benefit, you'll have less money going out the door if you choose to update your home in any way, shape, or form. Now, this next one kind of goes along the same vein, and I'll use the same example. When we updated our kitchen, we were able to have quality over quantity. I chose quality cabinets over having a big kitchen like in my old house, where if I did replace the cabinets, I wouldn't have been able to choose quality, that's for sure. If I could scrape up my 25 grand to do it, I would probably have to get the cheapest cabinets that they were offering. But in this small 10 by 10 downsized kitchen, I was able to afford quality over quantity. And that's just another awesome benefit and another savings of living in a downsized home. Now, this benefit might be just me, but you can let me know in the comments if you've downsized your home and you felt the same way. And that is, I feel like you appreciate your home more than you did when you lived in a big house. Now, that's exactly how I felt. I appreciate every square inch of this home. And you know why? Because I use every square inch of this home. There is no longer rooms that I don't even go into, rooms that just collect dust, rooms that I feel guilty about having the square footage in my home and I don't even use them. So I appreciate this home more than I ever appreciated my other home. And it also might have something to do with I'm just in a better place mentally and physically. I'm able to do the things that I enjoy and I'm not house poor anymore. So I'm so grateful and thankful to my home for providing my family shelter and for giving me a space that is cozy and hygge, and you can look that up again. Let me know what you think in the comments if you've ever heard of it. But it just gives me a comfy, cozy feeling, and I'm thankful and grateful to my home for it. Decision fatigue was a thing of the past. I no longer had 10 million decisions on my plate, what I was going to do and how I was going to pay for a repair. You know, if something busted, oh my gosh, who do I call? What do I do? How am I going to pay for this, right? I didn't have any of those things on my plate or in my head anymore. And that is just such a gift. Getting rid of decision fatigue, along with getting rid of my big house, was one of the best benefits that I had in living in this downsized home. And I think if you choose to live in a downsized home, you'll have the same thing happen to you. In my opinion, decision fatigue is a stealer of joy, and it's a stealer of, is stealer a word? I don't know. It steals your joy, and it steals your ability to be present. And being present is what it's all about, right? So if your mind is floating around and you have all of these decisions to make and you just are unsettled, you don't feel good, you don't even know why sometimes, maybe you've never even heard of decision fatigue, but that's what it looks like. And getting rid of my big home and downsizing into this smaller home made it possible for me to say bye-bye to decision fatigue. Now, did you ever hear of the container method? It is a decluttering tactic that you can use to maybe have only so much stuff in a particular container so that you limit the things that you have. Well, wouldn't you say that your home is one of the biggest containers that you have? Well, if you have a downsized home, that container is going to allow you to have way less stuff than if you had a big sized home, right? So if you have a downsized home, you're choosing to have a lot less stuff, and therefore your container is less full. And you know what that means? It's an additional money saver. It's another way to save money, and it's another way to put that money to use in another capacity outside of it being put into your home. Your insurance bill will decrease. If you have less square footage, that is how your insurance rates are calculated. So your homeowner's insurance is going to go way down, depending on the area you live in. Obviously, if you live in a flood zone or something like that, that might be something that you want to check out when choosing a downsized home. But I'm talking in general. In general terms, your bill will decrease if your square footage decreases. So that's just another money saver, again, to use in some other capacity outside of it being used for your home. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you consider downsizing your home to upsize your life. I have no doubt about it that it could be a game changer and a life-changing event for you, just like it was for me and my family. A little channel update. I wanted to let you know that I'm going to be posting a new video every Monday and Thursday. I'm giving it a shot for the next 3 months. Fingers crossed. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I post a new video every week.